and welcome to Senior Panel. Can you all hear me? Is this good? Okay. So we have a group of seniors here, and we're going to ask them some questions, and we're going to get to hear from them. But let's just start by having each senior introduce themselves, and let's go with your major.
My name is James. My major was wildlife management, and I'm out of my own justice.
Hi, y'all. I'm Micaiah Anderson. I'm a general business major and minor in marketing.
Hi, my name is Emma Moronis, and I'm a psychology major.
Hi, my name is Abigail Smith, and I'm a kinesiology major.
Hi, my name is Stacey Kennedy, and I'm actually getting my master's from agriculture and consumer resource. My name is Lauren Gardner, majoring in communication studies and management.
My name is Natalie Fleckowitz, and I'm majoring in kinesiology with a minor in psychology.
My name is Vada Bailey, and I'm majoring in communication.
Awesome. So we are going to go ahead and kick it off with the first question. So it is, how has your faith grown or changed during your time in college?
So I'm going to be honest, I really haven't started coming in until the semester. But luckily, I had a really good roommate and friend that invited me when we moved in together, and I started to become more regular here. But as this past year or so, I believe that this place has really grown my faith, and because it helps when you have friends and people that push it.
So I want to read, I knew God growing up that I was raised to be home every day, but it wasn't until I came to TROC and really kind of got out of under like my parents' way and kind of found God for myself that I really started to grow my relationship with God and figure out who God is. And so if it really wasn't for TROC, I really would have grown in my faith or in my relationship with God.
I had a pretty rough relationship with God before I got here. I actually fell out of Christianity for about 4 years before I came here. My boyfriend, who is now my fiance, actually got me back into church about 6 months before I came to Tarleton for the first time. And I heard about a McDonald's buyout. I went to it. The worship leader at the time, his name was Gabe, came up to me and he was like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "Everything except instruments and singing." And he was like, "Great, I need you." And in that moment, my relationship with God was changed drastically. Like, I would not have a relationship with God if it wasn't for TROC, because TROC finally made me take ownership of it's my relationship with God and not anyone else's, and not my fiance, not my parents. No one can have a relationship with God. So TROC was really the place that defined my relationship and made me come back to Christianity.
What I first changed from here is during COVID. And so I was locked in the dorm with strangers and no friends. And yeah, it was a really lonely time. And devil really attacked me. I grew up in a Christian household with church every Sunday. But in a time of darkness, the enemy really tries to put you in isolation. And it's honestly a really dark time. And if you're in that place right now, I've been there, and I promise the light on the other side is so much better. I actually didn't discover TROC. I came here on a Sunday, and that's when I was introduced to this amazing building and these amazing people. I was smiled at, greeted at, and immediately felt that calm. And so throughout college, I've been going here for 6 years now. But yeah, I've joined life groups. I've met so many amazing people, and a community is exactly what you need when you're here at college. I could promise you that. So don't isolate yourself. Reach out to us, and let God use the people around you to grow your faith.
For me, I lost my grandma in October, then I lost my grandpa in right before New Year's in December, and I felt like I hit rock bottom. And then my friend Lauren invited me to church, and I met everybody. Everybody was just so welcome here. I joined a life group. And I felt like I don't know anybody. And every time I see people in my life group, they smile and greet me with a big hug. And then I met Landry, and she talked me well, not talked me through, but like gave me encouragement to get baptized and stuff because I felt like I had to like completely change my ways. And I realized like that's not it. And I kept getting signs to get baptized. And I did. And I felt like I found my church home here. Yeah. So I have also come here for 6 years. I'm not getting my master's, just my bachelor's. I have always come to TROC. I was handed a bag of donut holes on my first day of freshman year and have come here ever since. But that has held a lot of struggle for me. And so I would always come to TROC, but sometimes I was hungover. I should not have been here. Or I guess I should have been here. But I feel like I had a time in my life where I was kicked out of school and I was kicked out of college, and I had kind of like just hit rock bottom. And so I started praying to God, and that night, I feel like it was like 3 years ago, God just completely was like, you need to change your life. And so I've always been here in the building, but I would definitely say like after realizing that I needed to give it all to God and having like that heart to heart with him, I was able to dive in a lot more and to be able to actually experience like what he wanted to do through me. And I've gotten to lead a lovely life group, and we get to just have fun with each other every single week, and just getting to understand that it's not all about like being the best at what I do or the best Christian or have the best relationship with God, but it's about our heart and what we're putting into it. And I am not perfect every day, but I definitely now am able to realize what God has called me to. Yeah.
Oh, do we all have to hand? Okay. I grew up in church. We went to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. And so I was fortunate to grow up in a family that was like very Christ-centered. And my parents definitely represented that to me. For me, I, like Emma, was found at McDonald's buyout by Gabe, and Lauren actually. But they invited me here and I played my first TROC ever. And until like 8 months ago, I played every TROC between that. But it was cool to be able to leave a church home that you had your entire life, come here and find another church home where people just really loved you and it felt like you'd been here your whole life.
Okay. I grew up in church and I grew up serving in church and everything. And then I came to college and I went crazy. And then I became friends with people who were not so fruitful and was kind of just doing my own thing. And I could feel that God was pulling me back into church, but I was just kind of being like, eh. And one day everything just kind of crashed and burned. And it was almost like I had to be broken to like start over in a way. And then I started coming to TROC more consistently and had the blessing of being able to be on leadership team. And it showed me like how important having fruitful friends are and people who will hold you accountable in your life, and how important that is in college, especially.
Okay, so the next question is, what has been the biggest challenge of your faith and how did you overcome it?
Take it. Okay, I can start. So this year, I feel like in my faith has been my biggest challenge. There has been a few things in life that have come up where somebody very close in my life has stepped out of my life. And this person is somebody who I saw a lot of validation from. And I realized that after they stepped away, and part of me believes that God did take them out of my life for me to realize how much validation I was seeking through them. And through that, I was like, okay, how do I seek validation from somebody who is not physically here to say, Madeline, you are doing it, girl. And so I'm still going through that, but one of my biggest challenges through that is knowing and trusting that God does have a plan for you, and he does have a plan in your mess. And that's been one of my biggest challenges, but yet most like rewarding challenges, because I feel like it's brought me so much closer to God.
Okay, so I could agree with Maddie for sure. I tend to stress and worry about the future, especially with so close to graduating. And your testimony actually helped me out a lot with that. I felt like I needed to hear that. I know me and Abby were talking about that as well. And then like she gave her testimony. But also I'm going to be real, y'all, cussing as well. Yeah, I have a potty mouth, but I'm changing it. So.
So I was actually going to reshare my testimony just in case y'all missed the God wink that week. But that was definitely my biggest challenge in college is I went into my undergrad as ag education, and I went and did my student teaching. And then I immediately was like, oh no, maybe this isn't what I was supposed to be doing. So that's part of the reason why I decided to get my master's. And these past 2 years of my master's have been completely unknown, completely in the blank. I have no idea what's next, no idea what's going to come. And for the longest time, I struggled with that trust. And then eventually I decided that giving it to God is so much easier than carrying it yourself. I was so tired of having that weight on my shoulders. So I gave it all to God physically, and literally I came up to the altar and literally just laid it all out to him. And any moment I felt like I was trying to pull it back, I would realize that and give it back to him. And the biggest thing from that is like, your relationship with God is not going to look perfect, and you're going to mess up. You're going to pick things back up again that you've let go, and it's going to be okay. But now after 3 attempts, I am heading into graduation in May with the internship of my dreams. So I promise it works out.
The one thing that I have had to overcome, it's a struggle for me, is growing up, I had 2 parents that believed in 2 different things. So religion was really like I want to believe what one parent says, I want to believe what the other parent says, and kind of meet in the middle with them. But as I got older, I realized that, and from advice from other people, that my faith is my own journey and not my parents or not, anyone else in the family. So that was one of the outcomes. And also I think everyone up here can kind of agree with is not knowing your future. Like, do I want to go back to graduate school? Like, that's a really good thing that's been on my mind, and not knowing what I want to do after graduation is another one. But I got to put my faith into Christ and he'll have my plan together. Next question. How has being a part of TROC impacted your relationship with Jesus?
For me personally, I grew up in a very traditional Baptist church, which was great. I truly do love my church back at home. But being here, I got to see kind of a different type of relationship with Jesus, I guess, where it's a lot more personal, and that was really important for me. And I don't know, it didn't seem so strict and stuff when it comes to things how you pray and stuff like that. And so TROC has really been able to loosen the strain of you have to be a Christian this way, and allowed me to just kind of be me and be a Christian through what I do.
Kind of pigging back off that, I think TROC has definitely played a big role in transforming my relationship with Christ to actually be my relationship with him, and getting personal and deep and connecting with the Lord one-on-one, instead of let me just for example, I would pray with my family before we eat, and we always did things together and went to church together and things like that. But doing that, spending one-on-one time with God, I think that's what TROC has taught me.
For me, I didn't grow up going to church, so this is kind of my first church home. And I felt like I had to find a religion, but this place and the people at this church always told me it's not about a religion, it's about your relationship with God itself. And also I found Christian friends, and I didn't realize how important that was, but having Christian friends meant a lot, because they're not just going to give you some worldly advice, they're going to give you the word instead of what you want to hear.
No, I definitely agree with that. One thing that TROC has given me is definitely a community. Growing up, I did not have the kind of community that I have here, and just having those friends to lean on and for them to give me like good, like godly feedback. I was like, you know what? That's so right. And I so appreciate that. And so just having all of these amazing people to lean on and just knowing that I do have somebody, if I needed anything, I know that probably everybody in this room would definitely be there. And that's very comforting to know that TROC definitely helped give me that community.
For me, it's always given me like a solid place. And I know that like we talk a lot about the church isn't the building, it's the people, but it in my journey has been hard, and knowing that I was always able to come to this place whether there was people here or not. And there were times where I would literally come and sit like just in the back row on the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, like just to be in a place where I knew that God would find me, and just knowing that I had a place that comforted me and accepted me in every single season of my life. And they were going to be there to tell me like when I needed to change things or when I wasn't doing things right, but people in a place that just accepted me and was a home for me. So yeah.
If you could go back and tell your freshman self one thing, what would it be?
Okay, you go to church.
Yeah, but also be friends with the people that have similar like, faiths, or like try not to just be in a group like, oh, I just want to make friends, because that's how I was. And luckily I actually see several of y'all, but like I met them through connections and going to different things. But where am I going with this? I had it in my head. Sorry. But just be friends with people that share the same values. That was what I was trying to say. But yeah. I feel like for me, I would go back and give my younger self some advice of, wait, hold on. I had it in my head too. I forgot it. So, that God does have a purpose for you. And like, there is a plan, and he does things for a reason. And like looking back now with certain things with my freshman year, I can definitely see how God had a hand in everything. And it's so cool to sit back and reflect on how he had his hand in every decision I made, and every circumstance that came up, and every test that I failed, and all of those things. And it's just really rewarding to sit back and like reflect on those, and like knowing that it helps for the future plans of like not knowing the future. And like, I don't know what I'm going to do in a couple years after I plan on going and getting my master's. But after that, I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I am so confident in knowing that God does have a plan for me at that time. And I am looking forward to seeing what he has. So
Kind of bouncing off the friends thing. You don't have to keep the same friends you meet day one when you get here. God has people that he's going to bring in and out of your life for very specific reasons. I wish I could tell myself that when I got here, because I made some very good friends for my freshman year. I made some very good friends for my sophomore year. I made some very good friends for my junior year. But not all of them were meant to stay in my life for the rest of my life. Not all of them were meant to go to my wedding or to see my kids one day. Some of them were there for the season and then they left. And while it was really difficult to let that go, especially for any psych majors in the room, I have an anxious attachment style. So if you seem distant from me, I'm going to start freaking out. And so leaning into God and knowing that, okay, this person was here and they've done what they needed to do in my life, whether it's taught me a lesson or made me a better person or both. And now they're going to leave. And that's okay. I can let them go. And while I can be sad about it and feel all the human emotions, I'll be okay. Because there'll be another group of friends that is better and suited for that chapter of my life right around the corner.
I guess I would say to let God utilize you, and the people you meet in your life, be intentional with them. Even if they are just there for a season. I guess my freshman self, I was so stuck on just going to church. A lot of times it was by myself. Maybe I'd invite a friend, but I was so nervous to like invite somebody or talk to my friends about Jesus and my relationship. But that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to be disciples. And so just let God utilize you. Love other people like Jesus would. Talk to them like Jesus would. Invite them. And that's pretty much what I'd say, because it took me forever to become a volunteer here. I was a shell of a person.
Yes, I agree. For me, it's more so life is so much better when you do it God's way. Because every time I tried it my way, I always failed. And then like once I got baptized and started doing things God's way, life has just been so easier. And yeah, I appreciate that so much. Yeah.
My advice is call your mom or your dad or your grandma or whoever. They probably miss you and you probably miss them too. It's okay to miss them. Call your parents.
Okay, quick rapid fire. If you were to describe TROC in your TROC experience in 3 words, what would they be?
Fun, crazy, and emotional.
Welcoming, accepting. Oh man. Okay, stop. Anyways, being lovable.
Life-altering awesomeness.
Welcoming, loving, and acceptance.
Home, friendship, and love.
Emotional, happy, and family.
You gotta get a friendship. Mine would be community, opportunity, and eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joy, peace.
Okay. How did you prioritize your relationship with God during the busyness of school, work, and a social life?
Wait, say that again.
Okay. How did you prioritize your relationship with God during the busyness of school, work, and social life?
I'm be honest, I have not. In this past, 3 years that I've been here, I didn't. The past 6 months, I say I have, because I've noticed that I've had more opportunities when I did put God first and my faith first. I had to really work a lot in college. I still do now, but I have to pay bills and pay my school. So I never had the opportunity to always come to church because I was working. But I definitely had made it a priority the last 6 months of my life to really put that in there, because I have my parents saying if you put your faith first, you're going to have these blessings that come. And, my family just had really good news today. And so I feel like that's why. And so, yeah. So I'm gonna be honest, the 3 years that I was here, I partied. I did a lot of stuff. So I'm not proud of it, but I mean, it's made me the person that I am today. So
I feel like one thing that helped me prioritize my relationship with God through the busyness of life is whenever I do get stressed out, I feel like I need to go on a walk. So I go on prayer walks. And so I'll be walking around and saying a prayer. And that has really helped me kind of in any moment in time. If I'm about to walk into a test that I know I did not study for, or a project that I did not do any work on over the weekend, it really helps me take a step back and kind of really lean into God's presence and kind of be okay, why have I not been sitting or working on my projects? I need to go and sit and I need to go on a walk with God. I just need to go and be in his presence to kind of help me get back to where I'm okay, then that'll help me tackle my to-do list.
So, worship everywhere, all the time, in my head, out loud, in the car, when I'm studying, when I'm not doing anything, when I'm sleeping. I'm not a big prayer person. My communication with God is through worship, 100%, and because that's just where we connect. I connect on a musical, spiritual level with him. So worshiping 24/7, 365 without fail.
yeah, mine's the same. There's honestly really good Christian bangers out there, y'all. You could cut out secular music if you really wanted to. You're not missing anything.
I would also say prayer walks.
And devotionals in the morning. Awesome. Okay. How are you trusting God with the unknowns of life after college?
I'll go on Natalie Loads over there. For me, it was, I'm somebody who has to like have a plan beforehand. And so like going into something where you don't know what's going to happen next, was really stressful for me. Luckily for me, I was able to like get everything kind of figured out, in the last couple of weeks. And so, that was really awesome. But trusting in God and just knowing that He was going to provide and that you're going to have a job and you're not going to go homeless, and it'll all work out if you just calm down.
So I know we kind of talked about my student teaching and then leading into all of this. And then, so I guess right now with this internship I'm going into, it's 10 weeks. And after the 10 weeks, I have no idea what's next. I'm praying they'll give me a job afterwards, but they may not, and I may have to find something else. So I guess just trusting. My biggest thing is just letting go, trusting. And honestly, I just forget about it sometimes. I don't even think about it. I'm like, God's got me. And everyone's like, oh, are you worried about it? God's got me. He's going to lead me where He wants me. I'm not worried about it. If that's out of state, if that's back home, like it's going to be what it's going to be, because God has the pen. He's already written my story. He already knows what the future looks like. And I don't have to worry about it.
I would say, like, for me, the biggest thing that I had to learn was, like, to live in the today, not to worry about tomorrow or the next week, which is really hard for me. And I cry a lot of nights because I was just like, God, what the heck is going on? But God's got me, and He did get me, and He got me a job. And I still don't know, like, sometimes what tomorrow looks like for me, but it's helped me a ton to, like, not focus on after graduation or after this or after that, like just being content in the today, because if we continue to chase like the unknown, even when God gives us the things that we prayed about, we're still going to chase the unknowns. And so there's always going to be something unknown that is going to be in your life. And so it's better to learn it now than later, to just be content in what you do know, and obviously take the steps that you need. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to just flunk out of class because God's got me. Like, I tried that. Let me tell y'all, it didn't work. Okay. So do your schoolwork, do what you need to do, but just do everything that you can to control your situation, and everything that's out of your control is out of your control, and you shouldn't worry about
it. What has been your favorite memory at TROC?
Mine would be getting baptized.
Mine would be, what was it? Oh, you don't want me to say it? You can do this. Okay, my favorite was like 3 years ago, right? Maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. A while back, we had a night that we just went really late for worship. It was around the same time as like all the Asbury revival and stuff. And so we were here until like probably 1 a.m. And I was in the worship team at the time. And so, afterwards we played music, and just all hung out, and I went and sat down and was just kind of sitting in it. Cause like when you're up here playing and stuff, you feel it, but like you're also like still like doing something. So it's like, you can't really process everything at the same time. And so, I had gone and sat down, like started processing it. And then these two random people, not really, Lauren and, our old drummer and worship leader's girlfriend came up and sat next to me. And then she had moved, and Lauren stayed there for a while. Lauren says, I'm not going to tell you what she says. Lauren says something, but anyways, that was probably my favorite finale.
Say that I was praying over him, and God told me that he was going to be my husband, and look at this rock on my face. It's the way it works.
The Lord will provide. My favorite memory at TROC was when my little cousin Emma baptized me. She's the ginger who sings on stage. Yeah, love you. Okay, I guess one of my favorite memories here at TROC is, I know you'll see me around with the camera. I really do enjoy taking pictures for TROC because while y'all are worshiping and praising the Lord, I kind of get to see y'all's faith through y'all's praises. And that's like one of my favorite things, to see God moving through everybody and getting to see everybody, like whatever they are feeling, they are giving it to God in that moment. And that's one of my favorite things to see.
I'm split between two. So there was a memory that I have. It was before TROC had even started, because the band is here like 2 hours before you all are. And our old worship leader, Gabe, had everyone up here. They were going through, I don't even remember what song it was, but there was just this moment where there was a harmony that hit, and it's like the whole building kind of vibrated with it. And Gabe started circling the sanctuary over and over and over and over, just screaming because he could not handle it. And then he fell into a chair and didn't get up for like 20 minutes. And then my other one is baptizing my friend Jamie. She's the first person I've ever gotten to baptize, and that was such a beautiful moment, and nothing will ever compare to it.
I love seeing the chain reactions here at TROC. So I was baptized here by one of my friends, and then I got to baptize two of my really close friends that I invited here. And I just love seeing like getting to play a role in other people's faith and leading them on the journey alongside with you, and creating that like team of disciples, teams of sisterhood, teams of just godly people is amazing. And so those are definitely my favorite memories.
I feel like everyone's been here longer than I have, but I guess like just seeing my friends here, because you know that really does push people to come to church when you have people your age and stuff. So yeah. So I have one last question for everybody, and it's going to end on a little bit of a light note. What is one worship song that has carried you through college?
Lord Will Provide. We just sang it. I absolutely love it.
Don't do the thing.
I think that people want to hear it.
No?
What?
No. Where you go? Oh. Lord Will Provide. Mine would definitely be Reckless Love. Reckless Love has been with me through a lot of my life. And like anytime that song plays, I know it's from God. I was thinking about it earlier today. I looked at our song, like worship, like set list thing today. And Reckless Love wasn't on there, which not that I like look for it all the time, but I do. And I was like, aw, Reckless Love's not playing tonight. And literally tonight, while we were getting ready, it played on our like overall worship deal. And you were literally talking about it. You're like, have you ever heard this version before? And I was like, the Lord, it's the Lord, guys. So that would probably be mine. Yeah, I agree. Reckless Love is my favorite because my mom sings it like every single day.
Graze into Gardens, because everything that dies will come back better.
Okay, so I have two. Mine's Goodbye Yesterday and At the Altar.
Mine's my very first song I ever played here. We just played all the time. House of the Lord. It's not like that great of a song. We used to play it every single week, and it's just like it's always running through my head. Is that it?
Oh, mine is At the Altar.
You gonna sing it?
What?
You gonna sing it?
No, it's at the altar.
Okay, got my dream.
What? What's my dream? Is to be on the worship team here, and James always told me no. See, I wasn't good enough.
Gabe said no first.
Awesome. Well, we just want to tell you that we love you, and we have been praying over your journeys, and as y'all are walking out those next steps, do y'all want to close by sharing where your next steps after graduation, if you know them?
You want me to start over here?
Yeah.
She said, say what your next steps are. Okay, y'all can start thinking about it. I am going to the police academy in July for Tarleton, and then I will be back here in Stephenville as a Tarleton police officer in December.
Oh, so what? Nice idea. Yeah.
I'm also getting married in June 1st. Sorry.
There is after that. Y'all, mine's Wherever Jesus Takes Me.
getting into a master's program, and getting married.
I am planning on going to PT school next spring, so let's hope I get into the schools.
I will be with HEB in San Antonio as an intern, as a procurement, which is a buyer. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I will be getting married in June, and then I've accepted a position at a local nonprofit here. So, yeah.
I'm actually going to turn around and go to nursing school and then hopefully become an NP one day. And I am going to stay and continue to get my master's.
You know what? Any last word
To share before we pray over y'all.
Well, I kind of mentioned this a minute ago, but I thought about this that I was going to share tonight, so I'm going to share. My biggest advice to all of you guys out there is to find contentment in the now and not in like future circumstances, because I feel like that was a huge part of my story throughout college, was like always chasing like, oh, well, if God will give me good grades, then I'll be happy. And then I got good grades. And then it was like, okay, well, if God will give me a boyfriend, then I'll be happy. And then I got a boyfriend. And then it was like, okay, well, if God will give me this. And I noticed this cycle that I was going through of like just always chasing the next. And I didn't truly find joy in Jesus and in my life until I focused on like finding contentment in the now and where I'm at, and finding just joy in the everyday life. It's not always beautiful, but you can find joy in everything. So that's it.
You are never too far gone, and God will always welcome you back with open arms, and He loves you more than you can imagine.
Yeah. I also want to say, just really quickly, to piggyback off of that I mentioned during announcements that we're doing baptism tonight. If I don't want to like pressure you guys, because it shouldn't be an emotional decision. It should be something between you and God. But seriously, if they're about to start worship, if you want to get baptized, please just come to the offices. We'll get you taken care of. But I just want to piggyback off of that, because I feel like a lot of people, and everything that I've heard is that people are always like, I'm waiting for the perfect moment. Like I need to get better with God before I do this. There's never a perfect time. You won't ever be in a fit position to get baptized. You won't ever be in a fit position to give your life to God. If you're there, just do it.
Mine would be is to get into a life group. Last year I heard about life groups and I was like, I don't know. It's the middle of the semester. Everybody's got their group established. Wrong. We're always accepting people. And we love to have everybody, but also it wasn't until this summer where I really got plugged into a life group first. And I was like, I did not realize I needed this community. And if it wasn't for my life group this last semester, I really don't know where I would be like emotionally and without that community, because community is so important. And it took me a little bit to realize that, but really do get plugged into the life groups here. They have changed my life completely.
Well, we're going to pray over y'all. If our team wants to come up, then we can pray over our seniors.
Now to the most fun part of the night. We get the extreme honor and privilege here at TROC to get to baptize people at least once a month. And something that's super cool that we get to see here at TROC is that a lot of times people are baptized by their own friends, people that have impacted their walk with Jesus, people that have helped them along the way. And so tonight I get the honor of having Miss Erin and Ashley out on the stage. Okay, Ashley, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say I'm so grateful for the friendship that God provided me through Erin, and I love you and I'm so proud of you.
And I just want to say Erin is such a bright light. I feel like I do not walk anywhere without hearing people talk about just your positivity and your smile. I'm going to throw great. So with that, yeah, her family is here. Can we give it up for her family over here? I heard they drove like an hour and a half at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night. That's awesome.
So, with that being said, have you accepted Jesus into your heart as your Lord and Savior? Do you believe that he died on the cross for you? Awesome. Well, with that being said, Ashley's going to baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, buried with Christ in baptism, raised to walk in a new way of life.
I had the pleasure of sitting at Chick-fil-A with you for 3 hours. And we talked about all of life's ups and downs. And I have never left a conversation more energized when talking about hard things. But you are just such a light to me and to many others that I know that you have impacted their lives. And so I'm just really proud of you and super excited about this moment. Annabelle, do you believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins? Oh my goodness. Are you ready to go public with your faith? All right. It is my honor to baptize you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, buried with Christ in baptism, raised to walk in a new way of life. Someone get this girl a towel. Oh, good. We got one. Oh my goodness.